Hey guys, it's Ariel. There's something I want to talk about that feels really good, and I want to share it just in case there's anybody out there that might not see this route or this way or this option. But because of my recent breakup, it was in March of 2025, and now we are in May. I have been releasing the trauma from that connection, the trauma that led me towards that connection. And I've been really healing in this single energy that, in a way, I don't feel like I'm going to give up this independence for a while. I don't want to. I'm kind of like in love with life right now, just being a single 28-year-old woman. Okay, so at 14 years old, I got my first real life boyfriend. I had an online boyfriend. He was amazing. We met on weworld.com. It was this website where you can make a character and customize it, and you can go onto this online realm. There was different places you can go. We would meet up at haunted house. It was like a specific map, and then we would always meet up at the top in the attic, and then you can type and it would bubble. If you know, you know. It was around the era of Club Penguin Toontown. So WeWorld I found on AOL. I had AOL IMing Messenger. Oh my gosh, flashbacks. Anyway, so we started chatting on Skype, and then we eventually video chatted, and then we eventually talked on the phone. So after a few months of chatting and stuff, we came up with a plot for his dad to drop him off in my neighborhood. He told his dad that I was a friend from elementary school, and it worked. And then we hung out, we met in person a few different times. I had my first kiss when I was younger. I was playing hide and go seek with the boy that lived down the street that I wound up dating later when I was 18. Wow. But my first kiss was with him, and it was just cute. We were in the closet. We were hiding from his little brother, and then we just kissed, and it was like kissing. Oh my gosh. But it was like little kids, it was innocent. It was playful. It was cute. But he was my first crush. Scratch that. My first crush was a boy in kindergarten / first grade. I won't say his name, but yeah, I liked him a lot. But that was just a crush. My first kiss lived on the street. Okay, but with my online boyfriend, I was 13 and he was 11. And when I first met him, he had fibbed, and he was telling me he was 13. And then he told me one day, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? Have you been talking to somebody else? It was so dramatic. I was 13. It was like Hannah Montana, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez time. So I was like, what? Have you been seeing somebody else? It's online boyfriend. Anyway, he was like, no, I lied to you about my age. And I was thinking, is he 17? Is he whatever? And he was like, I'm 11. And I was like, that's completely fine. You're younger than me. There's no issue there. So yeah, we got some memories there. And then yeah, I dated my first, it felt like real boyfriend. Sorry to my online boyfriend, but it felt like my first real boyfriend was the one I had when I was 14. Don't know why. It just feels that way. Okay, so yeah, I went to a backyard party when I was 14, and I met my going-to-be boyfriend. And I saw him play the drums, and that was it for me. I was like, all right. So when he wanted to hang out with me again, alone, not at a party, I was like, for sure. Anyway, so I dated him for 9 months. And then we broke up around the summertime, okay? And then that summer, I was just by myself. I read some books. I remember I was going to be going into high school. I was going to be going into 10th grade, okay? Because my first year of actual physical high school, because I was homeschooled, it was actually 10th grade. So this was 2012. And then I met my first love. So this guy, I just, from like the second that I saw him at school, I went home and I told my mom there was this guy, and she was like, oh no. And I was like, his eyes were so big and so brown, and she was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I was like, Mama, I'm gonna date him, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna date him. And yeah, by that weekend I gave him my phone number, and he texted me after soccer practice, and we were hanging out and walking to the bus together. He wound up living 2 minutes from my apartment at that time, and yeah, we became best friends. You know, it wasn't this like boyfriend girlfriend situation. He and I were best friends. It was not understood by a lot of people around us. A lot of people were annoyed at our relationship because it was a roller coaster, but he and I understood it and we knew what we were doing. Other people were just like way too involved in our business. So yeah, so that was sophomore year, and we loved each other in our own way. There were ups and downs, but to be honest, I would have never chose anybody else in my entire life to, do the deed with, and he made me so comfortable. I have always loved remembering my first time. It's just been a magical experience. Like, I love the people that I've dated, even though things weren't always the best or the most clear or the most transparent. I have loved every single partner I've been with, and they all have amazing qualities. They're all very talented in their own ways. I chose really great partners. I found really like intriguing people. Some of them had things that they were going through that made them so not themselves, and I could see that. I could see that they weren't being themselves, and I loved them anyway. So I was only with that one person from sophomore, junior, senior. Like I said, we were more friends with benefits than relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, he saw other people. I had a couple other kisses, but I never was with anybody else in a major way, only kissing the lips. He was my only person for about 4 years. I loved him so much. And I still do. He's such a good person. We talk and we catch up all the time. Romantically, I'm just like, I know that we've already had our time for that. So after this guy that I'm explaining, we did try that last 4th year after graduation to date as boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, so we started to date. After graduation, he was like, give me one last chance. It was so annoying. I loved him, but it was so annoying. But he was like, I want to make you my girlfriend. Like, give me one last chance. So I did. This is my first love. I was like, I want to put in every single thing I possibly can before I call it quits. Otherwise, I will have regrets and I will have wonders like, what if we would have worked out? Well, in that year that we were together, almost year, I think it was like 11 months, he wound up cheating on me with about 5 girls. So he couldn't stop his ways. And yeah, I won't put too much of his business out there, but there were just some things that he couldn't back out of, basically. And I was like, no. So I was really upset. Somebody had sent me screenshots of the proof, and on my Facebook Messenger, it went into my requested area because they weren't my friend. So they had sent it in like September, and I didn't find it until late October, almost November. So I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, I wrote him a letter. He was away at the army, and I basically just said, like, we're done. I found out. They told me. And then he couldn't really respond because he was far away. While he hadn't responded, I already knew that I was done, and I was also reconnected back with my first kiss, the one that I explained. Now I'm 18, right? And he was like telling me all this stuff, he was like, I told him if he ever fucked up with you that I was next in line, that he better not break your heart. And I was like, you told him that? And then things started back up. So this relationship is a 3-year relationship. So this was when I was 18, okay? It was around November. And I turned 19 in February. So it was 19, 20, 21. We broke up when I was 21. But this relationship was another type of roller coaster, but it wasn't as crazy. It was more about codependency. He had a job where he was gone all the time, and then when we were hanging out, he was giving other women attention that I felt like it was flirting because I knew him. I've known him since I was like born. Actually, mine and his families knew each other. My dad knew his mom on the same block that we grew up on, and we were a second generation that dated, you know what I mean, dated. My dad and his mom dated. But basically, yeah. So anyway, moving on. The thing is that with this relationship, it was hard because I love his family. I got really connected with his 2 little brothers and his little sister. It was hard for me because I loved his entire family. So I was like, it wasn't just a breakup between 2 people. It was like a completely shifted life. And so that was a huge loss at that time. It felt like a loss, but I knew what I was doing was better for me. Because we broke up mutually. One day I just like turned around and I was like, what are we doing? And he said, I don't know. Do you want to stop? And I was like, yeah, I kind of do. And he was like, okay. We both knew that it was like, we just didn't feel like we were building anything at that point. It just felt stagnant. So we agreed that we should break up. Then he went a little cray-cray on me and tried to block my car. And by block my car, I mean I was trying to like leave because there was just one day where I was like, okay, I'm not going to be living here anymore. I lived with him for about like 5 more months after we had broken up. We were friends, sometimes with benefits, but I was trying to leave in my car. My red Phoenix. I had a car named Phoenix, and he was blocking me. And then I was like, I will call the police and tell them that you're not letting me leave. Like, let me leave. And then he like wouldn't move. And then so I revved the car and he was like, whoa. And then I was like, bye, you're crazy. Why aren't you letting me leave? It was a theatrical ass ending, okay? What the heck? Okay, that was really strange. Okay, my car magnet thing just like broke off, which is fine because it's been irritating me. I just had to wedge something in it so that it like actually gets the way I want it to sit. So I guess it's time for a new one. But let me just get through this a little bit faster, okay? So now, this is the first time I've been single for a little bit, and then I meet somebody at the place that I'm working, okay? And you know what? I think I might have been 22 when I broke up with this person, when we broke up. I'm kind of like off on the chronological order, but okay. I was hanging out with a friend group all the time. I was in love with all of them. I was just like, I was giving them my love and my affection, and I was giving them all my attention. So I didn't need a partner. I had like 5 people that I could just hit up and be like, let's kick it. And then just be like gazing over them because I loved all of them. I was just like in love with everybody. It was weird. And so while I'm like loving all of my friends and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so awesome. I like had like friend crushes on every single one of them in their own like peculiar ways. That's how it felt. That's the only way I can explain it. That's exactly the truth of it. I won't lie. I loved each one of them. I loved like 5 people at once. So then there was one of them that I loved a little bit extra, and whether I was showing that or not, it doesn't really matter. And it was somebody that like I never expected for me to feel that way about. So when this person just like, one day something happened basically, and I saw him treat somebody that I introduced him to the way that he had just been treating me for like a year. And he just like handed over these like energetic reins to like this girl. And my heart just like sunk into my asshole and like left my body. And then I went and then I sulked, and then somebody came to console me. So while I went and I was sulking in my heartache because my heart sunk and I just couldn't fake it. So I walked away from the group. And then somebody sweet came to follow me and just asked me, "Are you okay?" And I just shook my head and I was crying. Like, I was literally crying. He's like, "Do you want to talk about it?" And he said, "Do you want me to stay here?" And he said, "Okay." And then I cried, and then I started talking to him, and I noticed his kindness, and we started to date. It was just like, oh man. But that story's in a different story time. That is my side of the story time. If you ever see that, this is the person I'm talking about. That sweetness turned into a little devil, okay? He wanted all the girls to feel that way about him, okay? So after I realized that this person's intentions was to be the baby in the minds of all of the women that he knows, Cancer sign. I don't know why these Cancer signs just love to be every woman's baby that they possibly know. Whether it's a coworker or an employee or a friend or a god sister. That's one of them. They just like to be the center of every woman's attention. And it's like, these are wounded Cancerians, okay? I know a healed Cancer sign is not like this, but I was dealing with some Cancers that had some serious wounds going on. So they like needed female validation. It was like to the next level. It was to the point where like they would like lie to avoid confrontation and then be like, "I just didn't want to fight, so I didn't tell you the truth." I don't like that shit. You know, but all with love, because this is just what I've gathered over time. This is why I do not date Cancers. I'm like, peace. Like, you can look cute, you can have my attention for a moment, but like, nah. You are not, nah. I've already, that's 4 Cancers. I didn't tell you guys about every single one of them, but nah, I'm cool. I'm good. Moving on. So, they're so victims. It's insane. Me. Sorry, every time I don't even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. So after this, I just hung out with somebody that was like a friend with benefits, but we barely ever had benefits. It was more like friendship. And then, yeah, that was it. And then I had my last 3-year relationship that I just got out of. Okay, so from starting at 13 with the online boyfriend, then 14 with my first boyfriend, and then my first love from 15 to 18, and then the other relationship from 18 to 22, I'm pretty sure it was 22. Then from 22 to like 23 and a half, 24, that's when I was in that friend group and all of my attention was on them. So it still wasn't on myself, it was on these friends and what we were creating, which was freestyle rap. We would go to the studio. It was a vibe for a while before it all exploded and everybody's true identities just like broke out at once. And then we all just like, we imploded on ourselves. And then, yeah, let's just move on. Then it was 25 to 28, this last guy. And this last relationship that I just had and got out of, I was, not the entire time, but for a lot of it, head over effing heels. Codependently though, like to the point where it was unhealthy. We did everything together. We were never apart. Every moment that I wasn't at work, I was either with him or letting him know that I was on my way to him. It was obsessive. And we became completely engulfed in one another. Our energies completely merged. And he had some things going on in his life and his world that I wound up adopting as my own. Things that I didn't have to, okay? Homelessness. His family had restraining orders on him and still do. But that doesn't really matter. Sorry, but they already broke that a long time ago because of me. They got back into contact with him because I reconnected them together. So, I will always love this man. And he was a grown-ass man, okay? We were 15 years apart. I just know what is better for myself now and for him. and it is for us to be away from each other, we are too involved. There's been way too much that we've went through. We've went through things together that I've never heard, even in movies, of people going through, okay? Just living outside, living in tents during blizzards, like using the candlelight. It was like a movie, okay? And it's my journey, and it was beautiful. And I reconnected with my ancestors, with the part of me that was like on an adventure, like every day was an adventure. And yeah, now I have structure again. Now I'm back on Earth. My journey is done up there, but yeah. But yes, I closed that door on our relationship before it was even over. And then the universe, God, my higher power, moved me away from him legally. Moved me away from him. Like, police were involved. This is how insane it got. So it was a blessing for them to come and take me away from him. All right? I needed that. I wouldn't have done it myself. I would not have said, it's time to go. He got to the point where his mania was too intense. So I was removed from his reality. And that's the way it needed to be. So now I'm at a place where I'm enjoying myself, because all of the magic and all of the energy that I was giving away since 13, 14, this whole time, whether with friends or partners, it's all going into me. So what actually made me record this video is because I have been being offered to be taken out on dates, to places, to link up, whatever that means. I've been asked, can I please call you? Can we talk on the phone? Can we FaceTime? And it's like from many different people. And I do appreciate all of these offers. Specifically the one that came in yesterday. This guy asked me on an amazing date. Like next level. Like anyone would have went. Like sushi, champagne, hotel, all this stuff, right? But I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy. Like being with myself that I just don't want to let somebody in yet. There's only one person that's like told me that they want to like kick it, that I've even been slightly open to kicking it with, just because I know their energy. I know how lighthearted they are, and I know that they wouldn't be expecting anything else except for my actual presence. And that is actually a secret. But yeah, I would definitely go kick it with this person, because I just really appreciate this person's open mind and their humor and wittiness, and yeah, just fun ball of energy. And like, yeah, I'm cool with that. But I don't want to share it just because people know who it is, and I know people that I know watch my videos, so I'm like, you guys don't need to know that shit. But yeah, like, I just responded to this person right now before I recorded this video, and I just shared like how grateful I truthfully am for even the offer itself. My heart will know, my higher self, my connection to the divine is so strong. I will know and just automatically like say yes when it is time. But I've been through a lot of ups and downs in relationships, and I've been through a lot of roller coaster rides in friendships and romantic connections. And for me to just barely start giving Ariel my own attention is wow. And the fact that I've only been doing it for a couple months, and I've had an internal transformation that I can't even explain to you, just with 2 months being alone with myself. So much self-love built. And I'll know when I'm ready, and I'll know who it'll be at the time. But I've never felt so aligned with my true creativity, with my true identity, with my true style and swag, and the way I walk down the street with my headphones on, bopping in my own world, and not caring about how I'm being perceived at all in any shape or form. I have this like jingly anklet on, that I got at the Art of Inner Peace. And yeah, you guys, I think it's really important for all of us to just connect with our true identity and soul before we give our energy and time away to somebody else. And I think everybody's on their own path, and it's meant to be the way their path is meant to be. But I love being alone. And my future partner will respect and honor that about me as well. I think it is sweet that there are people that want to talk to me on the phone, and that want to... I do DM people, like I do message people back and I catch up. And the second that they say like, can you talk on the phone? I tell them the truth. I'm like, hey, I'm really introverted. I'm usually like with my mom, because I live with my mom, and she's usually like in the room. I just don't do phone calls. If I'm into you, I will talk to you on the phone. I will FaceTime you. I will walk to my car. I will go sit in my car to talk to you, okay? Like, if I am into you, I will make time to talk to you on the phone. But if I'm just chatting with you in the DMs, like, platonically, then that's just being, social. But the second that they're, like, expecting something more out of me that I just don't want to give away right now, I'm like, I'm an introvert. I don't want to do that. But it was a while back. It was like 2021. But I asked for freedom, and I asked to live by a beach. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I live by the beach and like less than 10 minutes away. And I asked to know myself completely in my light and dark. And I asked to be an alchemist, to be able to manifest. So I got this, and I achieved this, and I also achieved a world where I don't have any false energy, no illusions, no masks in it. And now that I'm here, I'm coasting. I'm chilling. And if I'm recording right now and somebody walked up and knocked on my window and was like, I was guided to come talk to you and I don't know why, I'd open the door and be like, let's chat if I want to. And my best friend, whose house she lets me stay over, which I'm very grateful for, I don't like feeling like I'm impeding or feeling like a burden to anybody. This is just an internal wound that I have, that I feel like a burden when I ask for anything. Or sometimes she just says, like, do you want to stay the night? And I'm like, yeah, like, is that cool? It's just, I like to be kind and I have manners. But she lives 1 minute from the beach. And that's where I woke up this morning. So I just feel like everything is flowing exactly as I expected it to when I got to this point of my journey. And to know that this is the trajectory that I'm on, and I'm 28, I'm really proud of myself, and I'm really happy with like the soul that I've become, with my authenticity and with my honesty. I know I trigger a lot of people. I can feel it, but I disconnected from the absorption of it. Like, I don't care. That's their problem. But yeah, I'm really grateful, you guys, for everything I'm being offered. Even if I don't accept the offer, I am so grateful of the frequency of the offer itself. And I thank God, and I thank the person, or I thank the offer for showing up. Because it might have been something that I asked for in the past few years, or when I was a kid, or when I was a teenager. But it may not align with my holy path. The path that I'm aligned with now is one of only purity, only the highest timeline. There's not multiple outcomes. There's only one outcome. And this outcome is Christ. This outcome is love. This outcome is compassion and forgiveness and honesty. Righteous anger does exist in this world. Don't touch my kid. Don't go near my kid. That's righteous anger. Prayer helps with that. And meditation helps with that. And clearing helps with that. So I just wanted to, because I was called to, record a little story time of my love life, because I like sharing who I am with you guys. I trust myself for being called to do this, and I trust putting it out there, and I trust that it's time. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of not sharing my voice, My voice is here to help. My voice is not here to condemn or disown or abandon. I collect every aspect of everyone, whether it is hurt or in agony or embarrassed, and I say, it's okay. That's a part of this journey. Let's just collect and gather ourselves back up, full pieces together, and return to love. But yeah, I'm at this very beautiful beach, and I found a shady parking spot. Out of every single parking spot, I found a shady parking spot. That is also a blessing. Thank you, tree. This tree right here, that's my buddy. That's my pal. I might just throw my windows down and start reading this book. Or I might go down there to the water. Or I might... You know what? I love not knowing. I love having no plan for the day. I mean, I go to work at 2. But I just love the unknown. I love what it brings. I love the mystery. So Pisces of me. You guys, I can't turn it off. Okay, I love you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here and adding your cute little energy into this energy. All one big energy.